Hello and welcome to Taiwan Plus. I'm Eric Gao, and here's what happened this week. On Tuesday, Taiwan celebrated its National Day. The feature of this year's ceremony was the speech from President Tsai. She's wrapping up her second and final term in office, so this was her last opportunity to speak at this event. Rick Lau was there for her speech.
In the centre of Taipei, cultural performers and the armed forces put on a vibrant display of what it means to be Taiwanese, as the country's people celebrate their National Day.
这是一种精神象征吧。我觉得现在的人不是只需要钱，在精神上也是要提升的，所以这个可以凝聚人民的力量。
Crowds in front of the presidential office are joined by national leaders and foreign dignitaries to take in the dancers, marching bands and Air Force flyovers. The pomp and pageantry on display here in the capital Taipei are a celebration of Taiwan's unique culture and a chance to show off its armed forces. But this National Day is also an opportunity for the President Tsai Ing-wen to define her legacy as she winds down 8 years as the country's leader. Tsai's time in office has been defined by her country's fraught relationship with neighbouring China, which claims Taiwan as part of its sovereign territory and has upped threats to take by force. In her final National Day address, she touted the measures she has taken to bolster national defence, from boosting military spending to launching the country's first domestically produced military submarine.
不挑衅，不冒进，在压力下也不屈服，和全球民主国家深化合作。 共同维护区域和平稳定，也为世界贡献良善的力量。
But Tsai also extended an olive branch to Beijing.
同时，寻求两岸之间可以和平共处，人民之间可以自由而无拘束、无负担的往来，让台湾甚至两岸都能成为区域和平稳定的贡献者。
Tsai used her address to spotlight her administration's accomplishments during her time in office: same-sex marriage, economic growth, and energy security. Taiwan's two-term limit means Tsai cannot run in January's presidential election, but the candidate for her party, the Democratic Progressive Party, or the DPP, is leading the polls.
Yeah, I think she is trying to portray the DPP as a responsible steward of Taiwan in the sense of, for example, military preparedness, but also economic growth and so forth, and also touting a kind of progressive social vision that the DP has managed to enact.
For 8 years on National Day, President Tsai Ing-wen has stood in front of the country and shared her vision for Taiwan, often in defiance of Beijing. And with her final address, she's laid out a blueprint for her successor to follow, stressing Taiwan's sovereignty and a desire for peace across the strait. Joseph Wu and Rick Lowett for TaiwanPlus.
Aside from the presidential address, a major part of the National Day celebrations is the massive parade. It includes cultural acts, military displays, and in recent years, international guest performances. Joyce Zen reports on how the event has evolved over time.
A giant flag of the Republic of China, Taiwan's official name, flying in the skies above downtown Taipei. It's on display for National Day, one of the country's biggest public holidays. Millions of people are set to tune in, with many showing up outside the presidential office to get a look at the massive parade and share their love for their home country.
突然觉得有点感动，对，刚刚升起的时候，
台湾就是一个很想自由的民主啊，
希望更多人能够认同台湾。
The parade is an annual event that dates back decades, marking the day an uprising in the early 1900s that ended China's last imperial dynasty. The main event has traditionally centered around showcasing defense capabilities, with troops, aircraft, and other hardware on display for the public to see.
Before the year 2000 and even before 1996, National Day performance used to be very solemn, with significant authoritarian tone.
As Taiwan transitioned into a democracy, that tone has shifted. Now the occasion has become a more celebratory one, with local school marching bands taking part. This year's festivities even featured performances from Japan and, for the first time ever, from the US. But the military elements have never really left, especially given Taiwan's tense relationship with China, which claims the country as its own and has threatened to take it by force. As such, the parade has evolved to also serve as a signal to Beijing.
Behind me is the Army's Special Forces Command combat troop. Now they're some of the nation's strongest soldiers and would be one of the first called up to defend the country.
By showing up at one of the most watched televised shows in the country, the military is trying to assure the public that they have what it takes to protect its borders. And with international media outlets here, that message is also being sent overseas. It's a chance to show friendly nations like the US that the island nation is taking its defense seriously. But some analysts say that a parade might not be the best platform to do this.
You know, a lot of the ones that make for flashy kind of pictures, right? Tanks, aircraft, big missiles, actually are the ones that the U.S. are not interested in Taiwan, kind of displaying. They really want Taiwan to go more asymmetric. Stuff that doesn't really look good on a newspaper photo.
To become fully asymmetric and have less reliance on conventional weapons, analysts say the country still has some way to go. But as far as the parade goes in bolstering public confidence, at least for those here at the presidential office, it's all about fostering good spirits and strong faith in their home nation. Alex Chen and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Most top political figures were at the official National Day ceremony, but not all of them. Several major opposition members held a rival celebration in protest over the official parade's English name. Stash Butler reports.
Taiwan's former president Ma Ying-jeou shatters a decades-long custom, celebrating the country's National Day, but not at the government-held event. Instead, he's in New Taipei, a city controlled by his party, the Kuomintang. Because on what's meant to be a day of national unity, the very name of the country has become the focus of a fierce political debate.
从前年开始，蔡英文政府将双十国庆日的英文名称改成 Taiwan National Day， 中文就是台湾的国庆日。台湾是我们的家园，没有问题。但是中华民国才是我们国家名称，对不对？对。
Taiwan is officially called the Republic of China, a result of the fallout of the Chinese Civil War, when the leadership of the nationalist forces, the Kuomintang, fled to Taiwan and set up their government in Taipei. Ma, a member of that same party, says President Tsai Ing-wen's embrace of the name Taiwan violates the constitution, pushing Taiwanese nationalism and undermining a large part of the population's Chinese heritage.
Local city-level celebrations like this are happening all over Taiwan, but for the most powerful politicians in the country, like Ma, there's only one national-level celebration, and that's about 10 kilometers that way, in the capital, Taipei.
To skip the national event is a powerful signal of dissent, coming just 3 months before Taiwan votes in a pivotal presidential election. Ma and his party hope to leverage the moment against the Tsai administration to support their candidate and promote a stronger Chinese identity among the public. But how effective the move will be is less than clear.
It's not really an electorally successful strategy. It doesn't really resonate with a lot of voters, especially when we know that a lot of the sort of I'm Chinese narratives don't really reflect what we know the population of Taiwan identifies as. There's only a small minority of people in Taiwan that identify as Chinese exclusively.
In the capital, Taipei, President Tsai is heading National Day celebrations for the last time as her 2 terms come to an end. While over the river in the country's most populous city, a former president and other opposition figures hold their own commemoration, hoping next year's official parade takes place with their party back in power. Justin Orr and Stash Butler in New Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
National Day wrapped up Tuesday evening in traditional, spectacular fashion with the nighttime fireworks show. This year, it was held in the central city of Taichung, but as our reporter Jeremy Olivier found out, poor planning meant the festivities were not what many people were expecting.
Ending the day with a bang, Taiwan's National Day fireworks celebration is meant to be the big blowout to cap off a long holiday weekend. The show is held in a different city every year, and this was the first time Taichung hosted it in close to a decade. And things didn't quite go as planned. The fireworks were set off earlier than scheduled, leaving many missing the show.
双十国庆必须要看国庆烟火。
没有从头开始看，有点小可惜。
People then took to social media with a longer list of complaints, everything from missing the fireworks to a drone performance being cancelled and badly designed staging. Beyond that, this year's celebration was also colored by politics. With Taiwan's presidential election just months away, some politicians have seized the opportunity to raise sensitive issues, like Taiwan's national identity. Opposition figures have criticized the use of Taiwan National Day in English-language materials, rather than Taiwan's official name, the Republic of China. Some chose to boycott the day's activities entirely, accusing the government of trying to promote independence before people go to the polls in January. But all this didn't seem to affect the general mood in Taichung. Thousands of people are out here to celebrate their country and its achievements. It's a stunning show of support for Taiwan's democracy and its autonomy. Now, not everyone may agree on the national name that best represents them, but what's clear from the numbers and the enthusiasm is that events like this one have a way of bringing people together, no matter their personal politics. For many Taichung residents, coming out to the event was also about showing pride in their city, Taiwan's second biggest, and a growing hub of the country's high-tech and wind power industries.
台中是个好地方啊。
我们台中刚好是在台湾的中间，其实各地来都很方便。
And ultimately, that's what this event was all about. Despite the issues, people were still able to come together and mark an important national holiday, allowing Taiwanese to celebrate their country and revel through the odds and a sense of community. Chris Ma, Patrick Chen, and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
With just a few months to go until Taiwan's presidential election, the divided opposition parties have hinted at a joint ticket, as both of their contenders are trailing in the polls. Reese Ayers has this story.
Defiant chants at a Kuomintang press conference as party heavyweights meet in a display of strength and optimism. Fighting blue is the buzzword of the event, with blue the colour of the main opposition Kuomintang, or KMT. Though he's trailing in the polls, the party's presidential candidate Hou Yu-ih isn't ready to throw in the towel. Instead, he might be looking to team up with Ke Wen-je, candidate from the Taiwan People's Party, whose party colour is white.
那双方面已经取得了联系，我们的所有的议题都是开放的。那先坐下来，两边把所有的相关的议题大家对好，大家一起朝蓝白合作方向往前走。
But Ke doesn't seem as enthusiastic as his KMT counterpart. Ke has been pushing Hou to participate in public debates and opinion polls, with the winner standing as the presidential candidate for any would-be coalition. It's a request that's yet to be answered.
所以我们希望呢，国民党可以尽快的来回复这个进行的方式哈，那也回应社会的期待。
The subject of cooperation may be at a roadblock until Hou agrees to debates, though current polling suggests that a blue-white coalition may be the best chance both parties have to win this election. The most recent polls show Democratic Progressive Party candidate Lai Ching-te as the frontrunner, with just over 30% of the vote. The Taiwan People's Party's Ke Wen-je sits in second, followed by Kuomintang's Hou Yu-ih. Independent candidate Terry Guo trails with around 11%. A separate poll asked respondents to choose between a Ke and Hou presidency versus Lai and Xiaobi Kim, who many believe will be Lai's pick for running mate. Almost 50% said they'd support a blue-white coalition, beating out current frontrunner Lai by around 12%. Despite the risk of a united front from the opposition, the DPP candidate, current Vice President Lai Ching-te, remains confident that his party will come out on top in January's elections.
未来会怎么变化，咱唔知啊。所以咱一定爱做最好的准备啊。就是讲，无论安怎变化，在下当无论是安怎组合，咱拢要赢安尼。
But with barely 3 months to go until the election, the opposition may still have a few tricks up their sleeve in their bid to unseat the ruling party. Scott Huang and Reese Ayers for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for joining us on Here's What Happened. Please come back tomorrow for another episode. And before we go, we bring you another look at the National Day celebrations, a martial arts showcase. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.